The stray German shepherd limped down the empty alley, replaying the final car door slam and wondering why her family never came back. Rain soaked her thick fur and made small rivers around the trash bins where she hunted for scraps, each cold drop like a scolding finger. Thunder boomed overhead, shaking her courage, but she kept moving because standing still felt too much like surrender. Whenever headlights swept the graffiti walls, she froze, praying someone would call her good girl and offer warm hands instead of shouts. Days blurred together, marked only by hunger pains and the sting of rough pavement against swollen paws that once danced across kitchen tiles. She slept curled beside cardboard boxes, dreaming of soft couches that smelled of lavender soap, popcorn, and children's laughter. Sometimes she tried barking for help, but her voice came out rough and weak, like a hinge groaning in an empty house. People hurried past, raising umbrellas like shields, as if looking at her might pull the storm closer to them. Only pigeons stayed near, tilting their heads before flapping off at the first hint of danger, their feathers swirling like gray snow. A delivery truck backfired, and she darted behind a dumpster, heart racing while memories of gentle hugs tangled in her head. She didn't know how long she could survive with cracked pads and an empty belly that growled louder each sunrise. The city felt enormous, a maze of smells and noises that promised everything except kindness, turning corners into false hope. Memories of belly rubs flickered like fading lights on a broken string, too distant to warm her now yet impossible to forget. She still wore a pink collar, though the rhinestones had fallen out, leaving only dull metal prongs that jingled when she shook. Stray cats hissed if she wandered too close, and guards chased her from storefronts with waving flashlights that sliced the drizzle. Garbage trucks rumbled at dawn, shaking dirt onto her coat and announcing another night had ended without rescue. She ignored the ache in her tail from sleeping on concrete, focusing on surviving 1 hour at a time, counting breaths like coins. Hunger gnawed like a tiny monster in her belly, roaring louder each morning until even damp cardboard smelled like roast chicken. Fog rolled off the river, wrapping her like a wet blanket and pressing cold deep into her bones. Still, beneath the grime, a quiet spark of hope whispered that someone would see the princess hiding under the mud. Maya, a kind 12-year-old with freckles, was walking home from the library when she spotted the muddy dog peering from the alley. Her heart squeezed as she saw the pink collar, knowing somewhere the shepherd had once been loved, and she whispered a gentle hello. The dog crouched, tail tucked, ready to flee, but Maya knelt low, offering half a peanut butter sandwich that had been her afternoon snack. Hunger overruled fear, and the shepherd crept forward, taking bites so softly that Maya barely felt teeth on her palm. Rain started again, and Maya shrugged off her jacket, draping it over the trembling dog like a superhero cape. Cars honked behind them, but in that tiny moment only the girl and the stray seemed real, wrapped in a bubble of shared trust. Maya called her mom on the family phone, voice shaking with urgency as she explained the drenched, skinny princess she had found. Mom arrived in their squeaky minivan, holding a spare leash and a towel covered with cartoon puppies. The dog hesitated at the open door until Maya climbed inside first, patting the seat and promising snacks and endless belly rubs. With a cautious leap, the shepherd joined her, releasing a sigh so deep it felt like months of fear leaving in a single breath. On the ride home, Maya named her Princess, saying every good fairy tale starts with a girl saving a noble heart in disguise. Princess pressed her nose against the window, watching raindrops race downward while warm air from the vents dried her shivering fur. At home, Dad spread blankets near the fireplace, and Maya fetched a bowl of warm chicken broth that smelled like Saturday dinners. Princess drank, then rested her head on Maya's lap, eyes closing for the first peaceful nap she had known since being abandoned. That evening the family trimmed matted fur, picked burrs from her tail, and washed away grime until her tan and black coat gleamed. Maya brushed gently, humming a lullaby her grandmother had taught her. With each stroke, Princess's ears lifted a little higher. They found no microchip, so the vet gave shots and said she was about 2 years old, healthy but underweight. Maya promised she would help Princess reach the perfect weight with homemade treats and daily walks through the flower park. Princess wagged her tail for the first time, a shy wag that grew confident when Maya squealed and clapped. As night settled, Princess curled on her blanket, looking at her new family with shining eyes that finally believed the worst was over. Over the next month, Princess changed faster than spring flowers in warm sun, gaining weight and confidence in equal measure. Her once dull coat glowed honey gold, and the black saddle on her back shone like polished leather in daylight. Maya taught her sit, stay, and shake, rewarding each success with tiny cheese cubes that made Princess drool happily. The shepherd learned she could trust the leash, for it always led to parks bursting with clover and children's laughter. Neighbors stopped to admire her, commenting that the rescued dog moved with the grace of royalty, bowing slightly as she passed. Maya began brushing Princess's fur into neat waves and tying a pink ribbon around her collar for special walks. One Saturday, they visited a local pet fair where a booth offered free dog show lessons, and Maya signed them up in a heartbeat. Trainer Mr. Lennox showed Princess how to trot in a circle and hold her head high, declaring she had natural show spirit. Princess responded to praise as a flower to sunlight, ears perked and tail wagging like a banner in gentle wind. At home, Maya set up a practice runway marked with chalk lines across the driveway, cheering with every flawless pass. By week 4, Princess could pivot, stack her paws, and freeze in a perfect stance like a living statue. Mom joked they might need a crown, and Dad printed a mock certificate that read, "Best Transformation in the Universe," complete with sparkly stickers. Princess seemed to understand, proudly carrying the paper around until it tore, then guarding the pieces as treasure. They taught her a playful curtsy, front legs folding, head bowed, ribbon fluttering like a tiny flag of victory. Maya posted before and after photos online. Soon hundreds of strangers liked, shared, and commented hearts and crown emojis. Invitations rolled in for charity parades and school assemblies where Princess could show what love and patience can do. Each outing built her courage. Crowds no longer reminded her of shouting guards, but of friends eager to meet a hero, waving banners with her name. Maya practiced short speeches about adoption, ending with Princess performing her curtsy while children squealed with delight. Reporters covered their story, printing the headline, "Abandoned Dog Becomes Neighborhood Princess," next to shining photographs. Yet beneath all the applause, Maya sensed their journey had only begun, and greater adventures waited just beyond the park gate. Late one stormy night, Maya awoke to Princess pacing the hallway, ears pricked and nose twitching as if chasing an invisible scent. Thunder rumbled, but Princess ignored it, rushing to Maya's bedroom door and barking a sharp warning that sliced the silence. Mom hurried from her room, and Dad grumbled until smoke curled under the kitchen door, turning their worry into fear. The toaster had short-circuited, igniting a small fire that licked curtains and filled the house with acrid fumes. Princess darted toward the danger, teeth clamped on the bottom of the burning fabric, yanking it down and rolling it under her paws. Maya grabbed the fire extinguisher, hand shaking, while Dad called emergency services and Mom opened windows to vent the smoke. Princess guided the coughing family outside, nudging Maya's back until they stood safely on the front lawn under pouring rain. Firefighters arrived minutes later to finish the job, praising the dog whose quick actions prevented disaster. The chief wiped soot from his helmet and declared, "That shepherd is a hero. Without her, your home might be gone." Neighbors gathered despite the hour, offering blankets and warm cocoa as they snapped photos of Princess sitting proudly beside Maya. The local news truck rolled up, lights glaring brighter than dawn, capturing Princess licking soot from Maya's cheek. Reporters asked how the dog knew, and Maya explained that love sharpened senses, turning pets into guardians. The next morning, social media buzzed with videos of Princess battling curtains, views climbing faster than anyone could count. Donations poured into the fire department's Pet Oxygen Mask Fund, each donor leaving comments about courageous Princess. Maya's teacher invited her to speak at school assembly, and Princess wore a red bandana printed with silver fire symbols. As Maya told her story, classmates gasped and clapped, learning that bravery sometimes walks on 4 paws. The principal awarded Princess an honorary medal of safety, a shiny disc that jingled like music when she shook her head. From that day forward, Princess slept lightly near the kitchen door, always alert, though she happily accepted treats for her watch. Maya felt safer than ever, yet she sensed the heroic rescue had set something larger in motion, like the first domino in a row. She wondered what other hidden talents her Princess possessed, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal themselves. A week later, the community college hosted a therapy dog evaluation, and several firefighters urged Maya to bring Princess. The gym smelled of fresh varnish, popcorn from the concession stand, and nervous excitement as handlers led dogs through obstacle courses designed to test calm. Princess sat tall while judges jingled keys, clanged pots, and even rolled a wheelchair past her wagging tail. She didn't flinch, instead leaning forward to nuzzle the hand of a shy toddler who had wandered too close. By noon, Princess wore an official blue vest stamped with the words "Service Visitor" and a little heart paw print logo that sparkled under the lights. The first assignment sent them to Sunrise Children's Hospital, where walls were painted with bright murals of jungles and oceans. Maya's stomach fluttered as they entered the oncology wing, but Princess trotted confidently, nails clicking like tiny castanets. In room after room, she rested her head beside pale hands, eyes soft, breathing slow until nervous children matched her rhythm. 6-year-old Liam, bald from treatment, whispered that Princess looked just like the knight's steed in his favorite game. She placed a paw on his blanket, and Liam laughed, a sound so pure it made 2 nurses wipe tears from their eyes. Doctors reported lower heart rates and brighter moods after each visit, crediting the shepherd-turned-princess for the change. Maya created a sticker chart so every child could collect a paw print badge when Princess visited them. Soon colorful stickers decorated for poles and wheelchairs like victory flags in a gentle battle against sickness. Hospital administrators invited local news again, filming Princess guiding a therapy parade down the ward, while musicians from the volunteer band played ukulele tunes. Viewers donated toys and books, packing hallways with boxes that smelled like new paper and hope. Liam's mother hugged Maya, saying her son had spoken more in 2 days than in the previous month. Princess responded by performing her curtsy, earning giggles and another shower of crown emojis online. On the ride home, windows down and spring air rushing in, Maya realized Princess was no longer just her pet. She was a spark lighting hearts across the city. They scheduled weekly visits, sandwiching them between school, homework, and long evening walks beneath blooming cherry trees whose petals fell like pink snow. Life felt perfect, yet stories with princesses often hold one last test, and Maya sensed theirs was drawing near. One sunny afternoon, Princess tugged her leash hard, steering Maya toward Liam, who was coloring dragons in the playroom. The dog sniffed his chest, then whimpered and pawed gently at the spot just below Liam's left collarbone. Nurses assumed she wanted attention, but Princess repeated the behavior, eyes fixed and ears flattened in worry. Maya remembered reading about medical alert dogs and asked the staff to check Liam's vitals again. Monitors showed a slight irregular heartbeat, unusual for his cancer type, prompting doctors to order an ultrasound. The test revealed a hidden blood clot forming near Liam's lung, a silent threat that could have turned deadly within hours. Immediate medication dissolved the clot, and surgeons later confirmed Princess's insistence had likely saved the boy's life. Word of the canine diagnosis spread through veterinary journals and online medical forums, drawing specialists who marveled at the shepherd's instinct. Newspapers changed her title from Princess the Hero Dog to Princess the Miracle Detector, printing her photo beside stethoscopes and shining hospital corridors. Liam's father, voice thick with emotion, called Princess their family's guardian angel, wearing fur instead of feathers. Social networks erupted again, but Maya noticed Princess seemed unfazed by fame, happy only when Liam laughed freely. Hospital board members voted to place a bronze paw print plaque in the lobby, honoring her life-saving alert. Maya spoke at the ceremony, explaining that kindness can give wounded creatures gifts science cannot yet explain. Afterward, Princess visited Liam's room, curling beside him as he told stories about the dragons she would someday ride. Doctors developed a new protocol for therapy animals, adding special training modules modeled after Princess's behavior and planning nationwide workshops. Rescue centers reported spikes in adoptions as families, inspired by the shepherd's story, sought hidden heroes of their own. Maya felt proud yet humbled, realizing that saving one dog had created a chain of hope reaching far beyond their town. That night, while Princess snored gently at the foot of Maya's bed, the girl whispered thanks for every twist of fate that brought them together. She also thanked the small spark of courage that once kept a starving stray alive long enough to be found. And as moonlight painted silver stripes across the room, Maya knew their tale still had fresh pages waiting to be written. Spring melted into early summer, and the town council organized a festival called Princess Day to celebrate courage, rescue, and second chances. Banners with her silhouette hung from lampposts, and bakery windows displayed cupcakes topped with tiny dog-bone sprinkles. The main street filled with booths raising funds for shelters, each decorated with pink ribbons matching Princess's collar. Maya rode on a float shaped like a castle turret, waving while Princess sat beside her, wearing a lightweight cardboard crown. Children in handmade capes marched behind, chanting, "Adopt, don't shop," in sing-song voices that echoed off downtown walls. At noon, Mayor Ortiz presented Princess with a key to the city, a golden charm attached to a leather tag. Cameras flashed, and Princess responded with her perfect curtsy, drawing laughter, cheers, and even a few happy tears. Maya spoke briefly, reminding everyone that true magic begins when kindness meets action, transforming even abandoned dogs into royalty. A brass band played as therapy pups from the new training program paraded, most wearing blue vests modeled after Princess's own. Liam, now stronger, threw rose petals from his wheelchair, grinning each time Princess caught one midair. Nearby, a giant adoption tent bustled with families meeting shy animals who, like Princess once, waited for their own miracles. By sunset, every crate stood empty, and shelter volunteers cheered louder than the fireworks crackling overhead. Princess watched the sky, ears flicking at each boom, but Maya's steady hand on her back kept fear away. When the final sparkles faded, the shepherd rested her head on Maya's knee, content as the crowd dispersed. Walking home, they passed the alley where their story began. Weeds pushed through cracks, yet moonlight made the place look gentle. Maya whispered, "Thank you for choosing hope," and Princess wagged as if answering, "Thank you for hearing me." At home, they placed the city key on the mantel beside the fire safety medal and the bronze plaque rubbing sent by the hospital. Dad brewed cocoa, Mom the cinnamon candle, and the family settled onto the couch. Princess sprawled like a queen across their laps. Maya opened her journal to write the next chapter, realizing happily there would always be more adventures because love grows stories the way rain grows gardens. And somewhere far away, a frightened stray lifted its nose to the breeze, catching the faint scent of cupcakes and courage, signaling that hope was on the way.